Welcome back to Lime Rock Park. As you can see, the field is underway on the pace laps, and it is a big field, some 32 cars. It's going to be busy. Let's take a look at our onboards. First of all, the gentleman who's leading in the points, and on the pole, number 19, Mike Galati. Then we are going to be on board with number 42, Pierre Kleinubing. And we are also going to be on board with number 8, Taz Harvey. So the onboard looks ought to be great, and Taz Harvey has had a tough couple of weeks as well.
Watch for Taz Harvey. He can run up front. Last weekend in Canada, he was running with the leaders when he had a huge accident that we've all seen. Now, he qualified way back in 18th position. Last year, he finished here 4th. Watch him for coming through the entire field, guys. He wants to get up front as soon as possible.
Taz is certainly capable of that. Let's take a look now at our BMW starting grid. Front row, again, what a string for Michael Galati on pole with Scavnus alongside. Row 2 is Pierre Kleinubing and Hugh Plum. They're all in Acura's. Then it's a number of BMWs. Alfred DuPont and Will Turner in row 3. Paul Gargillo and Brian Wade in row 4. Row 5 is Jason Potter in the Accord and Jeff Tarr in a BMW. Row 6, Paul Hacker in an Olds and Mark Reed in a Mazda. Row 7, Walter Marks in a BMW and Fred Pignataro in a Ford Contour SVT. Row 8 is Brad Safronis and Stephen Trey, and row 9 is Sean Keenan and Taz Harvey. And Taz has his work cut out for him, Dorsey. Deep in the pack, big field, and this track, as we said, is so busy.
Lime Rock is a really hard track to pass on. Taz has got to pass a whole lot of cars to get where he needs to get. Patience will pay off for Taz. He can't be aggressive, otherwise he'll end up in that ditch somewhere.
Here we go, coming up for the start. Pace car is in the pits. There's the field, some 32 strong. And very, very close quarters racing. There's the green. And Galati timed that nicely, rolled into the throttle. Gets a bit of a jump. Smart move there by Scavnus to just tuck in behind. That's Kleinubing and Hugh Plum. Then a throng of BMWs in the Big Bend.
Yeah, a lot of different BMWs in the middle of this thing. Lime Rock is a great equalizer. It's a momentum track. Horsepower is not as much important here as a good handling car all the way around this racetrack.
And the BMWs do indeed handle, and of course it's rear drive versus front drive. This championship has it all. There they went through the lone real left-hander on the track, and now they're on to No Name Straight, which really isn't all that straight. And look at this. There is, I think, that's Harvey, and he is doing everything he can to find a little room to make some moves.
Yeah, and you need a little room around here, but like I say, you need patience. Taz is so far back, he's got to be aggressive at the start, like he's doing right now. Pick all the positions you can, but don't put yourself in jeopardy right now. You got to watch these 2 and 3 wide deals. There's on board for the pass. That's through West Bend. Now the diving turn, looking at the back of the car right there in front of him.
When he's in a car that's quicker than the other cars he's working through, I would think it would pay off to back off a little bit before you get to the diving turn to really get a run at the exit.
Well, very good point. We see brakes locking up on the car there. The diving turn, you don't want to get caught at the bottom where you have to brake or lift off the throttle because it makes you slow up the straightaway. So you back off and you get a big run and you try to time that. You carry all that momentum on the straightaway and just make the pop off to the inside, passing into turn 1.
And that is exactly what Harvey is doing. He has picked up a number of spots already. Nice move, dives down the inside of the Ford Contour. And that was close.
Contour
but
looking back.
Yeah, well, of course, when you go offline to make a pass like that, it will sometimes slow you up on the exit of the turn. There we are up at the front. You can see Galati working hard, just dropped that left rear into the grass at the exit of West Bend. Well, that was actually the climbing turn now through West Bend. Now, of course, these Acuras, they run incredibly well, Cal.
Looking at the Integras running up front, they are actually in different specs. There are some rules in the regulations that allow the guys to change the specs with their various cars. The real-time racing team are the only team running 16-inch wheels. What that does, it gives them better handling, but it actually gives them higher gear ratios. So they will not have the acceleration of Galati and Scavnus. Speaking of the Scavnus, he's like the real-time boys. He has a lower compression ratio engine, which means they have 100 pounds less weight on the cars.
Well, Dorsey, that's all part of the equalizing formula that SCCA employs to try and bring some parity to this.
It's quite clever, really, in no different ways they do that, of course, by raising the wheel size and diameter. It's like putting a taller gear in. The car doesn't accelerate as well. By reducing the compression of the engine, they take a little weight off. I would think, personally, I would opt, like Real Time has, for a lighter car, more nimble car here at Lime Rock.
Well, and you're hoping you're not going, oh, look at this move. There's Kleinubing trying to wedge his way by Scavnus. Scavnus just shuts the door. Pierre did the wise thing this early in the race, just backed out of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he got pinched right there. He had a good run going. He was up on the inside and got pinched over to the grass. Got to watch that. You bump right there, and both of you are going to end up at the end of the day in the guardrail.
Well, not a lot of love lost between those two. They had contact in practice at Mosport. Oh, look at that. Big lockup by Scavnus.
Boy, you know what? did. He locked up the rear brakes first. I saw the 2 rear brakes lock up on the Acura. It turned sideways on him. He got it under control again, and the front brake locked up. That was because he had way too much speed on for the corner at that time. Of course, when you lock the brakes up, it doesn't stop very efficiently.
With these front drive cars, when you get on the brakes hard, I mean, the whole rear end is vastly unloaded, isn't it? You don't have any drive to the rear wheel.
Well, you set them up, Greg, actually with rear brake bias intentionally, so they rotate the back into the corner so you can pick up the throttle earlier and pull yourself straight.
Well, he did a nice job of the save, but that's cost him momentum. And here comes Kleinubing again. He's looking again into West Bend. He's alongside this time, Doris, and knifes through.
Yeah, he did a good job there. You heard the engine rev up as he went over the hill. The car getting a little bit of airborne right there as he climbed the uphill, but it perfectly set up pass, goes to the inside, makes it clean.
So Kleinubing has now moved into second, but as we've seen so often already in racing generally, battling behind, look at Galati's lead.
Boy, I tell you, that's letting Galati run away. He's looking at his rearview mirror. He goes, go on, guys. Just keep it up like we did last week. I'll end up cruising for a win here, and you guys just go ahead and wreck each other.
Well, Pierre obviously has that car working well, and setup here, Cal, is everything.
With the configuration of this Lime Rock Park racetrack being predominantly right-hand turns, a lot of the guys set their cars up accordingly. They give up the right side of the car, very much like an oval. They try and just get the car to turn right, and what they do is they stand up the right front. It means it will not be as good through the left-hand turn, turn 4, but it will certainly give them much better traction coming off the corners.
Are we talking a little stagger and wedge here, Doris?
Well, similar to it for sure, and they're right. This is an oval after all. It's a right-hand oval. The left-hander would be a throwaway corner anyway because it's a sacrifice corner, so you can build speed on the no-name straightaway. So setting the car up like that oval is a smart thing to do. Bias it to turn to the right very well and give up the left-hander.
Well, Doris, we've got a good look there at 92 Turner as he's chasing this group, and looks like Plum taking a little run. He did. He popped on Scavness, but I think Scavness covered and protects it. There is Turner. That's in the 5th spot. Here is Alfred Dupont, the European Racing Technologies member, and here is a great battle. 7th right there. That's number 90, Brian Wade, Turner's teammate. Right behind him is 34, Paul Gargillo in another BMW, and behind them and moving up from a 12th on the grid to 9th is Mark Reed in the patented Mazda. They're having a good run at Gargillo. This is really his home track. He's from nearby Greenwich, Connecticut, and he's right in the thick of this battle, 7th, 8th, and 9th. But it looks like Wade drawing clear of Gargillo just a little bit, and he has a very persistent Mark Reed hounding his bumper. Oh, Reed even stepped out a little bit to take a look up and through the climbing turn, and nope, not enough of a run there.
That's what makes this class so interesting. The BMWs, of course, are rear-wheel drive. Behind that, Mazda 626. That's a front drive car back there. A lot of different manufacturer marks being, oh, and a spin on top of the hill.
Yeah, Doris, it looked like he was pinched to the inside. That's number 93, Jeff Tarr, and it just flat got away from him, and he did that hook spin to the inside, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the exit part of West Bend right before you go to the diving turn. He got out there on the outside, might have gotten the marbles, turned sideways, hooked across the racetrack, and he was a lucky guy that he didn't have somebody T-bone him on the way across.
Well, he safely got that WeatherTech BMW back on track, and he's trying to stay out of everybody's way. He's going to have to scrub some junk off of those tires here. And let's see, he's going to stay out. He didn't do any harm or no foul to the car, so he's going to stay with it. And up front, Mike Galati is staying with it big time, continuing to stretch that margin out. We'll be right back to Lime Rock.
From screaming superbikes to full-dress road warriors, Cycle World magazine is to motorcycles what the open road is to the American dream. Experience all the outrageous thrills of two-wheel travel every month. And if you call now, we'll rush you a free trial issue with no obligation to continue. Each month, Cycle World's exclusive road test delivers it down and dirty on new bikes from every manufacturer. Become part of the spectacle with our extensive coverage of road, track, and dirt racing from all over the globe. And be the first to benefit from our gut reaction analysis of cycle electronics and technology, road gear for both man and machine, and riding and safety techniques from the mouths of pros. Call 1-800-538-0077 to order a full year of Cycle World for just $12.97. We'll bill you, and after you see your free issue, you can decide if Cycle World is for you. If so, return your payment and get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for only $12.97. If not, write cancel on the bill and own nothing. Plus, you keep the issue free. Call now.
When precision, quality, and speed count, depend on Craftsman. When you need the power of a wrench with the speed of a ratchet, reach for the Craftsman Quick Wrench. The Craftsman Quick Wrench's unique open-end design lets you ratchet around fasteners. There's no need to reposition. Every quick wrench is up to 30% longer than conventional wrenches. That means extra leverage, more torque, and extended reach for tight spaces. Like other Craftsman hand tools, the Quick Wrench is guaranteed forever. Craftsman makes anything possible.
Welcome back to the Speed Vision Touring Car Championship here at Lime Rock Park. About a third of the way into this 40-lap event, and Galati continues to lead. Good look there at Hugh Plum in the real-time racing Acura, currently running fourth, and he has been hounding Chris Scavness for the last few laps.
Well, these guys put on a show everywhere they go. They don't get separated by more than about a half a car length, if even that. They do a lot of bumping and shoving and pushing, but I know that everybody's watching their manners after last week. Everybody's had a talking to. This is the no-name straight. I got a name for it. Nada. It's not a straight. It's not a straight piece of road at all. It's all over the place. Uphill, watch. Get a little air here. You got to lift off the throttle a little bit, otherwise you'll free wind the motor, over rev the motor, and if you land like that, you might break a half shaft.
Got to be very careful. Harvey has no time for that. Look at this move. That's Taz inside 83. Mark Reed, he is closing on the top 10, and Taz Harvey has put in a barnstorming opening series of laps.
You see how dicey it is to try to pass on that no-name straightaway? Ooh, he locks the brake up there on the entrance to West Bend. He's on charge right now.
Meanwhile, we go back up to second place. That's Pierre Kleinubing. And Galati starting to work some traffic. That's one of Kleinubing's teammates. I think that's Fred Meyer, and he really didn't help Pierre up much. He moved well offline to let Galati through.
Well, that's the right thing to do. I had a little wonder in my mind, too, if he was going to get in the way there and try to help his teammate, but he did the right thing. Moves offline, lets all the leaders go by.
Scavness staying right with Kleinubing, and of course Hugh Plum in the other real-time racing, the orange and white car, staying right with Scavness. Looks, though, that they have calmed down a little bit. They're not dicing quite so much, and they look to be closing up just a bit on Galati.
Yeah, I think they are, too. Scavness in the middle of a real-time racing sandwich right there. The third car in line there is a Hugh Plum. He, of course, drove a rear-wheel drive BMW last year. He's still coming to terms with how to drive these front-drive cars as somebody drops off on the edge of the Big Bend up there.
That was Scavness, ran just a little wide. Now through the diving turn onto the front straight, and they're definitely closing. And of course, now we're going to start seeing traffic come into play on occasion. There's a car right in front going into Big Bend right there. Galati's going to have to deal with that car probably just a couple of turns.
Yeah, I'd call that Big Bend up there. It was West Bend. In fact, this is Big Bend, and they call it that because it goes on for about a week. You just can't get out of that corner. It's actually two corners, but taken as one. They call it the Big Bend. Here's that left-hander that's really a throwaway turn, and this quick flick to the right. We go back again and watch Taz Harvey in the Dublin Honda dealership, DC Sports Acura, and he has caught number 90, Brian Wade, in the Bimmer. And Dorsey, that means now he's well into the top 10. Yeah, Taz is doing a good job, and it's a hard job, too, here at Lime Rock, starting in the back and trying to get through all these cars quickly. You have to take some risks, you know, like he keeps sticking his nose in places, but it's hard to pass here. And if you're in a hurry and have to get somewhere, you have to just keep looking like he's doing right now for the uphill climb turn. He's just tucked in behind Wade right now, trying to find that spot. I would suspect here, unless he pops here in West Bend, which is dicey, if he backs off, gives himself a run through that diving turn, he might just be able to get him this time going into Big Bend. You don't want to catch him before the bottom, but you want to be really quick right here. He looks like he is pretty quick right there. Comes on to the front straightaway, carries some momentum. Now watch, he pops out real early. So this is way before the braking zone. So we got a big classic drag race, side by side, top speed going to the Acura. He's to the right part of the racetrack, and we'll take that pass in turn one, I'm sure. Well, Wade popped out to pass a lap car as well, and that forced Taz to go way offline, but he did a great job of the pass. And look at this, the traffic playing a role as Kleinubing now starting to really close on Galati. Traffic is a key issue always at Lime Rock because you're running around here so fast, under a minute lap, and you're catching traffic. Even if the cars are fast, the back markers are just about as fast. They don't have to be off much, and you catch them, it seems like, every 3 or 4 laps. Back on board with 19, Mike Galati. He's leading, but the pressure's starting to build, not just in his mirrors, but look at that, 2 abreast racing and lap traffic in front. That can really mess you up. Those guys, of course, racing for a position. They have every right in the world to use that part of the racetrack, and the leaders are coming. It'll be interesting to see if they move out the way or if they continue with their own personal battles. Well, that's solidified a little bit here, and Galati got by the Miata. Now he's trying to get around the outside. Ooh,
Hope that guy sees him, does, lets him slide through. That's the Prelude, the Motorsports Buffalo car. But look at the run Kleinubing got. Galati had to lift, and it cost him.
Well, see, sometimes the second car has a big advantage. Kleinubing thought that, obviously, he already knew that the back marker had seen the first car, so he just went ahead and drove it in there. He made a decisive move and went with it, and it worked for him. Look at it. Now he's right on the gearbox.
He is all over Galati, and coming right with him is Scavness and Plum.
Actually, he's not right on the gearbox anymore. He's on the bumper, actually.
He is right there through the diving turn. It's a matter, whoa, Galati, both of them running wide. Boy, they are doing everything to keep that speed alive, and Kleinubing looks mighty tough.
Mighty tough indeed. Actually, watch him now going in that big bend down here, lap traffic in the way. If you're in second place, this is an opportunity for you. You look ahead, past the car you want to pass, and you look and see what he's going to catch. And if the guy gets slowed up at all like this right here, you can take that opportunity and drive to the outside. That's what's going on. But you can also get wrecked out there.
Boy, he went way wide, and he had to get out. Now, this is killing his exit onto that no-name straight. Look at Galati get away from him.
Perfect deal. I mean, that's a typical line lock situation. You got to take some calculated risks at these back markers, but you don't want to put your nose in jeopardy too often, not at the middle part of a race anyway.
When after he lost that run onto the no-name straight to Galati, with Scavness taking a run at him, Kleinubing had to defend into the climbing turn, lost even more ground, and now Galati's got that little bit of a buffer. There's Kleinubing. Then, great battle with Scavness now, and Plum. Plum is taking a run onto no-name. Looks like everything's going to settle out. They're going to be hitting traffic in just a little bit. We're going to take a moment to break away. We'll come right back. You will not miss a thing. We'll be right back to Lime Rock.
The Porsche Boxster is assembled much the same way our original roadsters, the Spyders, were assembled. By human hands. Makes you wonder who builds other sports cars. The Boxster. Once again, there is no substitute.
On the road or on the track, one wheel looks as good as it performs. Forgeline.
Welcome back to Lime Rock, and Mike Galati has company again from Pierre Kleinubing, and traffic in front as well. It's one of the BMWs. That's number 93, Jeff Tarr. He had that spin earlier, and Galati is catching him. Oh, right at the, well, maybe the right time. He may have got a great toe.
Yeah, but when you got side by side, you can get a 2 or 3 car tow. You got to watch out for that too. It's not going to happen this lap, but that's the wonder of Lime Rock. You know, you have to really look in front of you, and you have to be very calculated about passing and not being passed.
Going to slip back a little bit further in the pack, and here comes number 92, Will Turner, running in 5th. Some lap traffic in between he and his pursuers, and that's helping him out a little bit. There's that's the lap car. That's number 59, Joel Solly in the Motorsports Buffalo Accord, who's had a fairly busy day here, and that car just does not look like it's working very well. Looks real loose and skittery.
Well, you look at it, it understeers on the entry of the corner, doesn't want to turn into the corner, then about in the middle of the corner, it gets loose, and talk about loose, and right behind him, a sympathy go off there.
It's number 58 in the Mazda Miata. Tough break for that gentleman, Ken Payson, in the driven performance car, and he just got kind of caught up.
Yeah, he was up underneath there. We'll see a replay right now. Look, a lot of speed on, nowhere to go. That's what happened. Kenny really didn't have much to do. If he didn't lock up the brakes, he would have certainly T-boned the car, and both of them off there to the into the scenic Lime Rock background.
It's been a lot of rain around here prior to this weekend, and that you get off track a little bit. It's a little soggy. They both were lucky not to get into anything. Back up front, Galati feeling the heat again from Kleinubing, and Scavness got the big break. He got that lap car going into Big Bend, apparently, between he and Plum, and now he's got a real buffer. But boy, did Kleinubing get a run on the no-name.
Yeah, but there's not much normally you can do with the big run on no-name. Watch, he could pop to the inside here. I don't think he's going. No, he's not. There's not much you can do. You can close up on the guy, but you want to make that speed run coming out of this next corner. Not yet. Off this corner and down through the bottom. Get the run at the bottom.
If nothing else, he's certainly aggravating Mike Galati, and at the same time, Galati is coming up on a big pack of traffic, and it was last year here. Galati looked like he had a race won, and he ended up getting caught out by lap traffic at Calvin Fish. That has to be worrying him a little bit right now.
It was traffic in 1998 that cost Michael Galati the win. He led comfortably, there was a caution, and on the restart, Michael dropped from first to fifth when he encountered a slower car in one of the higher classes. Michael is well aware of the problems that this bull ring at Lime Rock Park represents.
Well, that's true, and again, this is Galati running into some traffic, and here's Harvey. He's caught Alfred Dupont, and that should put him up into 6th spot. But it hasn't been real clean. You notice his little bits and pieces starting to come off Galati's car. He's done some rubbing.
I was going to tell you, take a look at the front of the car right there. You can see a separation between the front balance and the hood. It means he's been pushing. Talking about pushing. Watch it. Here we go into West Bend with a lot of lap traffic in the way.
Boy, that Contour did a nice job to let Galati through, but Kleinubing, Scavness, and Plum, they are all together, Doris, through the diving turn.
Yeah, that's some close, hard racing right there. You can't afford to get shuffled out of this draft. So when you get into a situation where one guy's passing a lap car, if you're the second or third place car, you got to make the try. Look at this. They flare. Big flare, trying to get the big radius through turn 1. Locked up the rear brake. Plum does. Nothing to do with the speed. You just have to go through there.
Boy, they are in absolute formation right now.
Boy, it's so easy to bump right here in a brake zone, especially if you're the third or fourth place car. Get cut off just a little bit, and you just touch the guy in front of you, and of course it's going to send everybody into a big slide.
The thing that just amazes me about Mike Galati is his coolness. He went into that left-hander. Kleinubing was showing his nose to the inside. Mike still went out wide, took the line that he likes through there. He just does not fluster.
No, and I'll tell you, Mike Galati, you watch his car, he doesn't slide around like these other guys. He really tries to keep his car pretty straight, and you don't see these big fishtail slides. Either he's got that car really, really handling good, or he's just doing a masterful job behind the wheel.
Well, of course, if you're not sliding it. Oh, that time he got very squirrely up behind that BMW. I think he got a run on him quicker than we thought. That was Kurt Buchwald in the Bimmer. And Kleinubing gets alongside the outside, and he's got a nose in front, and he shuts the door, comes right across Galati. And Kleinubing, all sorts of sideways doors.
Big slide. You would have never caught that in anything but a front-wheel drive car, but of course it allows now Galati to go up the outside. They're going to race through this left-hander. Next corner coming up to the right. Galati will have the edge here. You cannot go through this corner side by side. I say, and there they go, side by side.
Well, of course, and that gives Scavness a run. He tucks in right behind Galati, trying to freight train Kleinubing and freeze him on the outside. Kleinubing's going to brave it around the outside.
Scavness pulled the right choice right there. He went to the inside, took a look. You got to let this thing work out in front of you, though. I mean, one mistake by any of those four guys, everybody's in trouble.
And they head for that diving turn, and somehow Galati is hanging on to it. That could have been one of the greatest laps of racing we've seen in Lime Rock in years.
Oh, no! There it goes, off the outside. Good recovery by everybody. You saw Scavness move out of the way to give the car room to get back onto the racing surface.
And it's remarkable how little bit of ground Kleinubing lost, but he's on that outside, and Scavness really ought to be able to make the move here and solidify his hold on second. Does so. Scavness has second. Kleinubing tries to tuck back in to at least hold on to third, and his teammate Plum gives him just enough room. But that was a great save by Kleinubing.
Yeah, that was a headsy move for Scavness, too. Chris moving the car out of the way, knowing that the other car had to get back on the racing surface, and if it didn't, it would have hooked and probably crashed all of them.
Well, as it turns out, everybody's okay, but Galati ends up the better of that with a big margin as we are at halfway here at Lime Rock. We'll be right back.
How come so many professional athletes wear copper bracelets? Hey, that's Chichi Rodriguez.
I think my energy band improves my golf game.
Now you too can have the Chichi Rodriguez Energy Band. It combines the power of copper with the harmonizing power of magnetics.
He really looks good, too.
The Energy Band is beautifully crafted from solid copper, then electroplated in genuine 24-karat gold with a stunning white gold accent. Patent-pending magnets make it truly unique, and it's designed to comfortably fit your wrist. Copper and magnetic bracelets sell in catalogs for up to $150 and more. But the Chichi Rodriguez Energy Band is yours for only $19.95. Order yours now while supplies last.
That's being a winner.
To order, use your credit card and call 1-800-521-9229. That's 1-800-521-9229. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen. Call and order right now.
Nissan is the company who introduced the light truck to America in the first place. We're also the company who brought you the first King Cab. So who else would have introduced the first compact pickup with 4 real doors? What's that? The best ideas are sometimes the most obvious.
The Speed Vision Touring Car Championship is brought to you by Toyota. Get the most of your day every day.
Welcome back to Lime Rock for the Speed Vision Touring Car Championship. Things have settled just a little bit here. There's a look at Hugh Plum. Kleinubing now third, but with all of the action in front. There's Galati, the white car, makes a move around some traffic, and you get by one car and you find 3 more sitting in front of you. A lot of lockup.
I was going to say, Craig, if you can call this settled down. I look up there, see 4 cars wide, see blocked up brakes, trauma all over the racetrack. Welcome to Lime Rock.
Welcome to Lime Rock, and Kleinubing has slipped back just a little bit, and he had that near off, and John Bizignano, his crew has to be a little concerned.
Jerome Zimmerman, crew chief here in real-time racing. What are they saying about their tires? All this competition is hot weather. How are the tires holding up out there?
Holding up great. We dropped a couple wheels off there, but tires have been holding up fine. The heat's not a problem. These BFG tires do wear very, very well.
Pierre's falling back a little bit. What does he say to you?
Just said he got a little loose coming down the hill. Tried to get a run on Michael and dropped a couple wheels off, but recovered. He's back to third. Hopefully he'll get back up to second.
Great racing, guys, and the race isn't over yet. You know these 4 are going to be tied together right to the finish.
Well, Biz right in front of Pierre Kleinubing. Doris Scavness almost lost it at West Bend.
Scavness got too much speed off the corner, got on the outside, got into the gravel, threw up a lot of dust. Luckily, another great save, good piece of driving, brings it back on the racetrack right in front. I'll tell you what, these guys are thrashing pretty hard right now.
Kleinubing, of course, with Scavness, lost some momentum there, and there's a look at it, I think. You bet. From Pierre's onboard camera, Scavness was lucky.
Yeah, that's a hairy moment right there. He just got it back to the racing surface just in time. If it had gone over the brow of that hill any further, he'd have never been able to get it back on the track without a big accident.
So as we are working, that's one of the lap cars. That's a team car for the real time. They have 4 cars they run here in Turing. Scavness is actually second, and he's going to have to work around that team car of Kevin Schrantz if he's going to have anything to offer to Mike Galati here. And Galati's loving having a little bit of a buffer.
I tell you, these guys are breathing hard right now because you get up the uphill, down the downhill. You have to take a deep breath and hold it. And in close proximity like they are in traffic, I'll tell you what, they are working really hard inside these race cars.
Well, there's the move. Down inside Schrantz goes Scavness, and you'd think Schrantz now is going to leave the door wide open for his 2 teammates. Kleinubing and Plum in 3rd and 4th does just that. They pretty much arced through there very nicely, but they caught that car going into a braking zone, and of course Galati had him clean.
Chris Scavness got too hot in the left-hander and really pushed out wide, cost him a little bit of time. You know, now Galati in the rearview mirror, he's seeing all this battle going on. This is what he wants to see, because right now, again, he's opened up a pretty good lead.
Here's Galati going into the climbing turn, and then Scavness in the yellow Dublin Honda dealership DC Sports entry, and then the 2 real-time entries in 3rd and 4th. Again, Kleinubing and Plum. And this time looks as though Kleinubing's closing it up a little bit on Scavness. He may get a run on the diving turn. Let's watch. There is Plum. Boy, Plum would just like to have some development in front of him where he could sneak through at this point.
You see Chris moving off to the right. Chris Scavness moving to the right to defend that line if he needs to defend it. Now he doesn't need to. Moves back over, gets the radius for turn 1.
Through Big Bend. And Galati once again coming up on a little bit more traffic. And traffic at a track like this, I mean, you can be decisive and work it well, but a lot of it is just a matter of luck, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's luck and timing. You make your luck. Like I say, you have to look way ahead of where your game plan is so that you can time these passes or time the catching of the other car so it's in a place on the racetrack that's not going to hurt you.
Kleinubing really closing here on Scavness as they get into the climbing turn. Galati ran a little wide there. He's obviously trying to extend this margin as much as possible. And Scavness definitely has his eyes in his mirrors a little bit, because approaching most every turn, he does that little deke to the right just to sort of defray any move that Kleinubing might be thinking.
Yeah, Chris knows he's under pressure. You're right. See him, he's moving off to the right. Galati off the way to the right now, but that's for a lap car that he's going to pass. Chris is moving the race car around, not giving him the opportunity to open a door from behind or get a nose put in there.
And Once again, Galati gets the break in traffic. He gets past one of those cars going into Big Bend, and Scavness and the rest of the real-time crew get hung up. Boy, Scavness, though, a nice move. He actually closed up because it looked like Galati may have been hung up by that red Miata just a little bit. And look at the margin that Scavness has made up.
We're talking about decisive passes again. You look at that car and you make your mind up, and you dive the car to the inside, hoping the guy sees you, and that gains you maybe a tenth. But a tenth around here is a lot. It's a really fast racetrack.
So Scavness has made some good work of traffic and closing in on Galati. And coming with him is Kleinubing, although Hugh Plum now is starting to race Pierre just a little bit. And if he really continues to be a bit aggressive, that's going to help out the guys in front. And Taz Harvey continues to try and motor his way as we go on board with Taz into that lead group here. I tell you, starting 18th, even if he does catch that group, you got to wonder just how much of that car he's going to use up. Dives underneath the Motorsports Buffalo prelude and makes the pass.
Well, you heard the engine rev up pretty soundly over the uphill climb. Oh, we have a car off. That was in the downhill, and that was in the gravel trap in the downhill.
That's 44, Kevin Schranz, the car that they were lapping, one of the real-time cars just a little bit ago. Looks like he was able to save it, but he comes on right in front of Will Turner, who's running 5th. And there is Harvey, and Harvey's up to 6th, Dorsey.
Yeah, Taz doing a really good job. You know, he's coming from dead last and working his way up through the front, which is a difficult thing to do here. You see all that debris and dust down there in the diving turn. When you come out from underneath the bridge and you see that, scares you to death. You don't know if there's anything in the middle of that dust cloud that could be really hard.
The thing with Taz Harvey here, and coming from that back in the pack, I mentioned it, that's awful tough on tires and brakes and the whole package at this point, isn't it?
Well, you can't let the car rest. You got to run the car as hard as you can go and make these passes. And when you make passes to the inside under braking, you lock brakes like that car just did. It's tough. Yeah, it's a hard deal.
Well, once again, that was Hugh Plum locking it up, and that battle at the front is once again a 4-car train. They have reeled Galati in, and traffic playing a big role here. Galati, Scavness, Kleinubing, and Hugh Plum. These 4, as we head toward the checkered flag, are putting on an awesome show here in the Speed Vision Touring Car Championship.
Nasty storm. Wet road. Looks pretty bad, huh? No problem. That's the beauty of Subaru all-wheel drive, the ultimate safety feature. Thanks, kid. See, it automatically transfers power from the wheels that slip to the wheels that grip. And only Subaru puts it on every car they make. And that's no accident. Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Turtle wax. Some people say clear coat cars don't need wax. Clear coat's thinner than the piece of paper. So what protects the clear coat? New Turtle Wax Emerald Series car wax.
Waxing with Emerald Series puts down 4 times the Carnauba wax as the #1 brand, with no powdery residue.
Do your best wax job ever. Turtle Wax Emerald Series.
Emerald Series is the best hard shell finish. Turtle Wax.
For a quick touch-up between wax jobs, get new Emerald Series Premium Detailer.
So how did I get to be a big shot in sports journalism? Well, it's like anything else in life. It's not who you are, it's who you're related to. I'm Mike Tyson's cousin. No, seriously, why would I make this stuff up? Mike was adopted by his trainer, Cus D'Amato, and Cus's niece, Geraldine, is my Aunt Jerry by marriage, so I'm his cousin. Thanks, Cousin Mike, I appreciate it. Reference to Mike Tyson is not an implied endorsement. Your mileage may vary, and references to living characters, intentional or otherwise, is dead. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park, and the battle remains afoot. There is Galati, and you can see now Kleinubing really aggravating, harassing, trying anything. And look at Plum go to the out. Boy, that inside rear tire has got to be going thunk, thunk, thunk.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Big flip. Bunch of times, too. 5-6 rollover. Exit a big bend. I don't know what tripped that car up. That was right in front of the leaders. They're coming through there right now. I don't know what in the world turned that car upside down. I mean, it came into frame just flipping along there.
Boy, and in that section of track, normally you don't, the speed is not high enough to be that violent, so something happened. There's Galati, and look at the exchange here, because that is now Kleinubing as well as Plum snuck through. Scavness got hung up by that wreck. He took evasive, and he's the one that got caught out.
It won't make any difference. There's going to be a full course caution. These guys got to know that after having a flip of that nature. They'll bring out the pace car, so no need to race right now because I saw one yellow flag already, so there's no passing. That's one of the rules of the yellow flag.
You can see Galati slowing down and the rest of the pack as well now as they see that full course yellow, Doris. But for Scavness, even though it's yellow and they're not racing, he was second and he's now fourth, and it was because of that incident.
Well, that incident is kind of a strange deal. I suspect, I haven't seen it yet, but I suspect what happened is the car must have got sideways and hit the curb. The curbing there in Big Bend on the inset, the apex curbing, is quite tall. It's almost like a foot tall. And if you were to get sideways, hit it sideways, it could trip the car up. We'll take a look at the replay and see if we can see what happened. There is the exit of Big Bend. Watch the curbing. I'm sure that's what's going to... Yeah, see right there? He did. He got the car sideways and it cooked the wheel on that 1 foot tall curbing and it tripped the car up. And look at the momentum. Look at the energy all of a sudden being spent.
Boy, that fourth or fifth flip that blew out both the front and rear window. Well, here is Scavness. He makes the decision and he darts to the outside, and that cost him. Look at the end of this flip here, and there's Galati, Doors.
Right in the leader's face, and a lot of flips. I hope that guy's all right. That car really tumbled quite hard.
Watch it from onboard Galati. Here he comes, exit a Big Bend, and there it is.
Oh, good job of diving through the debris. You see the two wheels and tires laying out there. He had to go right through the middle of those. There was some other debris from the car, too. Another onboard look right here.
And we're on board here, Doris, with Pierre Kleinubing. Watch what happens to Scavness. He elects to go outside while Pierre pinches it tight to the inside. Scavness went off course with all that debris, Calvin. Are there any problems?
Christian Scavness felt that he may have had a tire going down. The crew brought a tire out over the wall. They put it back after a lap under caution. Christian believes the car is okay. His teammate Taz Harvey had fuel pickup problems during qualifying, then squared those away, and he scorched his way now up to 6th position. And he's really got a big break here with this caution period because that really gives him some good track position.
Dorsey, that's a huge break for Taz. Not only does it give him that track position, but it gives him an opportunity to cool things off a little bit, maybe take a run at the top 5.
Well, now all the work that Taz has been doing such a good job of, it all pays off because he muscled his way back in that position, but he would have never caught the leaders without this yellow. He's been praying for the yellow, and there it is right there.
He got a big break. Here comes the leaders through that incident scene, and the workers are out there. We'll take one more look at what happened, and what really snapped that over right there as he hooked that curb, when he started to go, the other bumper dug into the dirt, and it sent Jan Tom for a ride.
First people to discover this place, but we might be the first people to see it all in one day. Yamaha, solid thinking for a liquid world.
I vow to make you invincible, to make your engine sing, to use the strong, tough synthetic oil, the one that has a super breed of molecules to protect you from cold, heat, dirt, the one that'll help keep you from growing old. I will never let you die.
Valvoline SynPower, advanced synthetic technology.
This happens here and only here. You get every race, every moment live. This week, it's the Formula One Grand Prix of Canada. Speed Vision, the Formula One season. How can you stay away?
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park as we are still under yellow here in the Speed Vision Touring Car Championship, and we are under yellow because of a flip by this guy, Jan Tom Dorset. He's okay.
He was a lucky guy. Most all of his flips were done in the air. The car kept hitting on its wheels and bouncing up. The driver's compartment never took a serious hit.
That's very good news indeed. Other good news on the track is for Taz Harvey. We talked about it, and John Bizignano, he has got to be thrilled out on that track right now.
When Taz Harvey comes by the pits here, you can almost see the lightning bolts in his eyes. He knows he should be up front. This long yellow has been an absolute blessing to him. We're hearing that his temperatures are absolutely perfect to go racing these last few laps. His tires are cool. He is ready for a shootout. There may be 9 cars between him and where he wants to be, but he has already passed most of those 9 cars. He's currently in 6th, and I'll tell you guys, when that green drops, he is going to be going right up front where he feels he belongs.
Dorsey, I think Biz brings up a good point. He's already passed the cars between he and that 5th position in terms of lapping him. He knows he's faster. Does that give him any kind of psychological edge to know he can get him?
Well, that and the lightning bolt in his eyes, I guess that helps him out too. I guess that's why they call him Taz, the Tasmanian Devil right there. Yeah, he knows he's faster than these guys. Now all he's got to do is get around him and get up there where he needs to be. But he'll be on the charge. He's been on the charge all day.
Well, that he has, and one gentleman's been pretty much in control all day. As we take a look now at our Sears Die Hard race reset, as we get near the end of this one, Mike Galati has led all but 1 lap, and that was that 1 lap that Kleinubing snuck through. And at this stage of the race, out of 32 starters, remarkably only 4 are out, including Yan Tom. That's attrition has been really a non-factor here in this one at all. And Dorsey, we are anticipating green. Lights are out on the pace car.
Michael Galati's going to have to really concentrate and not get snookered on the start. He's the lead car. He can't let these guys behind him get a run. The guys behind him are going to try to get a run. They're trying to back off and time this green flag and go up the inside of him. I don't think he'll let that happen.
Boy, Fred Pignataro was on the throttle too soon, almost got into a car in front of him, and he had to take evasive. Pointed that guy back. That'll save him from a penalty. Pace car is in, and we're green. There goes Galati, and he moves to protect. Oh, Scabness 2 wheels in. He gets bumped. 2 wheels in the dirt, almost 4. He has to tuck back in.
That puts everybody on too tight a line for up here in turn 1. They're going to push out wide. That was really close. 4 wheels in the grass and rubbing door to door and running out of room quickly was Chris Scabness.
And unless I'm wrong, I think Harvey has already moved into 5th. I think he may have just made a brilliant pass of Will Turner and moved up. We'll watch for that. Here are our leaders, and Galati already has himself 3 or 4 car lengths, Doris.
Yeah, he does in that, and we're talking about Taz Harvey. He's going to be aggressive on his start. He's making that room up pretty quick. He knows he's got a fast race car. I'm not going to be surprised if he isn't the fastest car on the track.
And there is Harvey, and indeed, he has gone by 92 Turner. So Taz Harvey, in no time at all, has taken over the 5th spot. There's Turner in 6th. The question is now, can Harvey work through that group of lap traffic in front and take a legitimate run at that top 4?
Well, Chris Scabness has been fending everybody off all by himself. He's had the whole bunch of the other team all around him. He probably wants Taz to get up there, work him out as a teammate, making a 2-car run versus one guy against the other 2.
And there was Hugh Plum in the second of the real-time orange and red. Acura's popping way outside, but it looked like he got hung up outside there. And drops always off, and Scabness might have a break here.
Boy, I tell you what, he was loose all the way through that corner and went right up the outside of it. Look, more trauma up here in turn 1.
Couple of cars just running wide, get back on in a big hurry, but we're going to stay at the front here because of this battle. And there comes Scabness again, trying anything he can now to take a run at Plum.
We're talking about team cars, of course, with real-time racing, and talking about Scabness wanting Taz to get up in there. But look at Michael Galati. He doesn't have a teammate. I guess he doesn't need one because he's been leading the whole time.
He's just flat controlling it from the front at this stage. There is Harvey in 5th. He's only got 1 car to get by, but the longer he's held up behind him, the longer that gap becomes between he and...
Whoa, boy, that
he just got into the back of that Bimmer.
I'm sorry.
I
was hear him.
Yeah, he's apologized. Of course, the guy doesn't care. He's probably saying, oh, yeah, I bet you're sorry. What happened there was he was trying to carry the momentum on the downhill, trying to time that pass perfectly. Instead, he caught the BMW right at the bottom of the hill and ran completely into the back of the guy. Now, of course, he's waving saying, I'm sorry, but the guy in the BMW said, well, wait a minute, you're going to be sorry. I'll show you sorry.
Well, and now he's got a little bit of an additional wrinkle to the left front of that Acura, but he continues to stay on pace. Meanwhile, we go back to the lead 4, and Scabness has backed off a little bit, and Kleinubing is now starting to close in on Galati. There is Plum, and there is Scabness on board with Mike Galati. We are closing in on the end of this one, and Mike Galati is in full defend mode.
Are you tired of waiting for monthly car magazines? Don't wait, get Auto Week. Start Auto Week racing to you every week. For a true car lover, once a month is not enough. Don't wait for racing coverage. Auto Week covers it all. NASCAR, kart, Formula One, sports cars, the IRL, and brings it to you first. Behind the scenes as well as on the track, just days after the race. Don't wait for the fastest road tests. Auto Week drives every new car, truck, SUV, and van, and tells you about them first, as only a weekly can. For a true car lover, once a month is not enough. Don't wait for auto shows, trends and insights, personalities, and special features. Call 1-800-445-3800 for 52 weeks of Auto Week at our absolute lowest price, just $19.95. Save over $100 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Call 1-800-445-3800 now for Auto Week. Don't wait for monthly car magazines. Get Auto Week every week. Once a month is not enough.
If this is what you live for, the Outdoor Life Network is your network. It's the only place you can turn to for the tips and techniques that will inspire your next adventure. If you don't get OLN, call 1-800-OUTDOOR and ask your cable company to add the Outdoor Life Network, Adventure TV.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
The new Silverado interior is so big, there's plenty of room for seating. And, in a pinch...
Mommy said I could ride the pony.
Ample room for sleeping. Introducing Silverado, the truck from Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park, and the action is absolutely furious. Chris Gavnes trying to, he's wedged himself underneath Plum, and that's that section into that left-hander. It's a throwaway, but it gives him actually a better line onto No Name here, and Plum is really feeling some heat.
Yeah, feeling a lot of heat. I didn't think there was any way Chris was going to go anywhere with that pass. You can put your nose up in there, but without loosening the guy up by bumping him, it's not going to help you out at all. No Name straightaway here. You know, we'll take a look now. He'll probably work this diving turn, try to get the run down the diving turn. We look back there. Here's Taz Harvey with a little front end damage from that push on the BMW. He's still waving at the guy back there, I think.
Down the downhill, there is Scavnes taking the run. Let's see if he's got anything for Plum. Plum moves over to defend, and Scavnes didn't get a great run.
Well, Plum thought he did, though, because that's why he moved over right away. Now he moves back, locks up a brake. That all being done because he did that last move back for the radius for turn 1, and that put the car not on a flat platform. And when he braked, of course, one side tires are lighter than the other, and they locked right up. Look, here's the left-hander again. Puts it out. You got to watch if they bump there. That's going to be a problem.
Well, we've seen him lock up that right rear tire numerous times. Plum has into Big Bend. He's got to have a bit of a flat spot on that too, because it locks up and stays locked a long time.
Well, when you get a flat spot, it's exactly that. It's a flat spot, and when you brake hard, the flat spot is a square, and it comes down and it locks on the pavement at the very same spot. And if you keep doing it, you can actually go right down through the cord and blow a rear tire off the car that way.
And with all that smoke, you know that's motivating Scavnes just a little bit. Both of them run a little wide to the exit of West Bend. Here's the diving turn. And let's see if Scavnes timed it a little bit. Boy, he got a good run this time, Doris.
Plum will defend. He goes to the right side. You knew he would. He'll go all the way to the grass if necessary. It's not a block because he only moved once. One lap to go. Here comes Chris to the inside. They're in deep. They're touching. They're locked up brakes.
Oh, up and over the curb into the dirt. And Plum still staying there. They're still locked together.
All the way through Big Bend with the tires rubbing. Look, the mirror just fell off of Chris's car. He doesn't care. Last lap, he knows who's behind him. He doesn't care much about that right now. They rubbed for the entire corner.
And Plum takes a run at him through that right-hander on a No Name, but Scavnes has the measure right now. And on to the back straight they go. Final lap. And Kleinubing now, no pressure behind. He's got 2 corners to try and make something happen with Galati and Plum. I don't think we'll see if he can counter. Oh, he's trying. Boy, did he take an aggressive move.
2 turns left, and that's the entry to Big Bend. That slows both these guys down. They're battling for position. No, they'll never, ever catch the leaders like that, but it doesn't make any difference. They're fighting for 3rd place. Galati headed to the checkered flag.
Here he comes. Kleinubing tries, not enough, and Mike Galati, his 2nd straight win. Kleinubing 2nd. Look at this battle. Scavnes, he moved all the way to the inside to defend and holds off Hugh Plum for that final podium spot. A great 3rd place finish. And that battle from 1st to 4th, the entire race was unbelievable, but Mike Galati fends him off. And when we come back, we're going to visit with our top finishers. What a race.
The hottest wheels on the track are also the coolest wheels on the road. Forgeline.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila, and I want to show you another great innovation in Craftsman hand tools. It's the Craftsman Quick Wrench, exclusively from Sears. The Quick Wrench is a combination wrench with a unique open-end design that makes it work like a ratchet. It's made to reach right into tight spaces. The Craftsman Quick Wrench stays in continuous contact, making the job faster and easier. The Quick Wrench is a genuine breakthrough for Craftsman hand tools. Just one more example of how Craftsman makes anything possible. And because it's a Craftsman hand tool made in America, it's guaranteed forever.
Nasty storm. The wet road. Looks pretty bad, huh? No problem. That's the beauty of Subaru all-wheel drive, the ultimate safety feature. Thanks, kid. See, it automatically transfers power from the wheels that slip to the wheels that grip. And only Subaru puts it on every car they make. And that's no accident. Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
This Speed Vision program is brought to you by Subaru. Hungry for adventure? Take a taste test in an all-wheel drive Subaru today.
The Speed Vision Touring Car Championship has been brought to you by BMW. Find true love. See the complete line of BMWs at your BMW Center.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park. Our winner is one cool driver, and he is with Calvin Fish.
Michael Galati jumps out of his car after an exciting win here at Lime Rock Park. 2 in a row for Galati Racing. And Michael, what a performance out there. Tell us about the action in those middle laps.
I tell you, those guys were a good race. The car halfway through, it started pushing really bad. I'm like, when I saw the yellow, I was like, wow, that's a gift. Because we'll be able to cool off the tires. But I tell you, this guy's, give me a great car.
Last year, you lost the victory. A restart with a higher class in front of you cost you the win here, but no such problems this time, and you got a good restart.
Yeah, I was just keeping the speed from the pace car. I didn't want anybody to give me a long shot from the back. I just nice and slow, all the way down to the cone, like ACCA said it, and it just worked out beautiful.
Michael Galati, one of the more enthusiastic of racers. Let's take a look at our final official results for the Speed Vision Touring Car Championship. Mike Galati wins it over Kleinubing, Scavness, Hugh Plum. Drive of the race, maybe Taz Harvey, 18th to 5th. Awesome job. Will Turner finishes in 6th. Then DuPont, Wade, Potter, and Marks. But Mike Galati is really on a tear, Dorsey.
Mike Galati, a great guy. He's not short of enthusiasm, and he's not short of adrenaline, and he's not short of talent either.
He is not short of talent, and on the upside, he also has a crew that continues to give him a great car. And he got a break here, as he admitted. A little push started to develop, was able to cool off those tires and be able to take a run back. Now, we talked about Chris Scavness throughout the race. He was deeply involved in everything, Cal.
A podium finish for Christian Scavness starting from the front row. Tell us about the action up front with all 4 of you.
It was real tight racing. It could have been anybody's race. And then we had the accident out there, and it bunched everybody back up again. And I got balked up in the accident, and the 2 real-time cars went by me on the outside of the accident. So they had Pierre and Plum in front of me. And Galati was out front all the time with clean air. But it was, man, it was exciting. I had a run on Galati a couple times, and the restart, I don't know how many wide we were. I think we were 4 wide coming down into the corner here, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun to watch as well. Let's take a look at the driver's points after 2 rounds. Galati 8 points up over Kleinubing, Plum, DuPont, and Potter. And manufacturer's points, Dorsey, it's accurate.
Manufacturer points, that's where it's all at. That's where these guys get their money. All important manufacturers.
And as you said, Acura dominates. We'd like you to join us for our coverage of round 3 of the Speed Vision Touring Car Championship in 2 weeks from Mid-Ohio. For Dorsey Schrader, Calvin Fish, and John Bisignano, I'm Greg Kramer. The racing's awesome. Don't miss it here on Speed Vision. See you next time.